Tell me your story.
I was this close to dying from a brain abscess that was misdiagnosed.
Good to know people care, though.
For a lot of people, the MRIs are clear.
You said you had a lot to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said,
I thought it was normal to have like seizures by yourself all the time.
You definitely will feel guilt a lot.
I so appreciate you putting this together.
thank you. Hey, Rick. Hey, Kevin. You guys haven't got the icebreaker yet. Firstly, I had one. It was ketchup or mustard. And then Kate has one for you.
What was the question? Sorry, I missed it.
After ketchup or mustard, the next one is, what is your most prized possession?
Mustard. Mustard goes good on hot dogs. I only use ketchup rarely. For some reason, I knew you were going to ask that. I had a feeling you were going to ask ketchup or mustard, and I had this weird feeling. What was this prized possession? I don't. I'm not really a material guy. I don't really prize anything. The TV. I'm looking at the TV right now, so I'm gonna go with the TV.
I don't think I answered. Mine would be, what do I offer myself not having answers to?
Yeah.
Mine would be this platform. I cherish it a lot. I was gonna say, I don't know where I'd be without it, but yeah, I guess that's a good one for it.
I can show you mine. So last summer, my son did lessons at the library, and they went over Picasso, and they did watercolors. They went over his cubic style, and he made a cubic dragon. And then later on, like a week or two later, he went back to the library for clay works. And it's really just sculpting. And he made another cubic dragon. Yes. He's very proud of them and gave them to me. I had to fight my dad over them. But my Picasso dragons. And definitely ketchup. But you know what? I'm not that particular. I'd take mustard. Particularly, you know what? On a hamburger, I'm not too particular. Or cheeseburger.
Yeah, I can't think of mustard or ketchup. Depends on what we're putting it on. Hot dogs, I might do both. If I had to pick one, it might have been mustard. Hamburgers, it's up in the air. You never know with me. I think mustard, because I also have acid reflux. So I take like a spoonful of mustard every now and then, and it helps. Also, did you guys know that ketchup, when it came out, it was used for medical uses at first? Yeah, learn something new every day. But I got something here. It says seizures even on medication. So I've been having seizures for 4 years now, and I've been medicated for 3. I take meds every night like clockwork. But last night I had a really bad seizure on lamotrigine. Does anyone have any experience with having seizures, even with taking meds? This has only happened twice. Yeah, it's happened to me all the time. Not all the time, but I'm having seizures and still on meds. So it's not uncommon if that's what you're asking.
Same.
Breakthrough seizures is what you discuss at every appointment.
Who's had a seizure lately and has been on their meds? My last seizure, I would say, yeah, it's called breakthrough. Yeah, what is the actual definition of a breakthrough seizure?
I'm gonna look this up.
I was just who asked who had a seizure and was on their meds. I did.
Gotcha. Breakthrough seizure is defined as a seizure that happens after a person with epilepsy has been seizure-free for at least 12 months while on treatment.
I haven't had a breakthrough seizure yet, though.
Yeah, so I guess we're just all uncontrolled until we get to 12 months. And then we can use that breakthrough term.
All right. Well,
Well, that's a little fucking exclusive.
right. I thought I was doing good. I was telling the nurse I'm only having breakthrough seizures. I did not know the definition was 12 months. She took my word for it, even worse. This medical system is destroyed. One comment here says, unfortunately, this is a very, very common thing. Think of building a dam. The medication keeps the big pushes from breaking through. It's possible for the dam to get worn down over time. At this point, your neurologist might increase your dosage or add another medication to work in the tandem with it to strengthen the dam. Another comment says, I've been on lamotrigine 2 times a day for a while. I had an instance that my fingers and toes were tingling, and yes, seizure on the way. I've had plenty of instances while on lamotrigine, but know how to calm myself down, which makes me think my seizures are straight stress these days. Brain tumor was removed 3 years ago. In this situation, started having seizures about 2 years ago. I've had 6 seizures since taking medication, anywhere from days to 8 months apart. My dosage has been increased for 4 times. It's been 4 months since my last one. Hang in there. Thoughts of seizures on medication? Well, Kevin, you can't give an opinion. You ever had a seizure while on medication? Actually, you said you had some while having the VNS. How's that?
Well, yeah, I've always had seizures on medication. Yeah, I mean, I've been taking medication since like age 12, and the VNS, yeah, that took like maybe 2 to 3 years to fully work. No, not fully work, but yeah, to really stop the grand malls. But yeah, yeah, I mean that's part of the process of fine-tuning medicine. I didn't really get a good fine tune for the myoclonics, so I had to uh, get the VNS, but it adjusts over time. The VNS takes a little extra time, but then you find another adjustment with medicine and the VNS, and everything falls into place if you're fortunate.
With the VNS, being that you said they were not as strong at first.
No, no, the VNS takes time because the doctors have to readjust it every time. Like you'll have the surgery and tomorrow you'll just be the same. Yeah, you'll pretty much just be the same the next day, the next month, healing up. It really does take like, some people will be fine within a year, some people will be, it took me like 2 to 3 years for the seizures to stop. So yeah. I think I got the seizure, or I think I got it put in 9 years ago. Yeah, 9 years ago.
Do the seizures feel any different?
I don't I don't have seizures anymore. Okay.
No, I'm saying when you first got it.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah. I felt I still had myoclonics after the grand mal stopped, but they lessened in power. So instead of a full jolt down half of my body, they decreased in power, let's say. I do like, instead of, my whole half body, falling over, it would just be a twinge, a little trickle, and then I would be using the magnet, and then about 5 or 6 years later, everything was gone. I don't even, I use the magnet for show now to show people what it is. I hardly use it anymore. It just took time. That's all, time and the meds.
Have you ever like got the vibe that you were gonna have a seizure, then used it and it actually worked? Well, I mean, it actually worked. It's supposed to work.
I don't know if there were auras coming on, but yeah, I get the vibe a lot, you know, like in cramped rooms. I was at a, graduation, and it's terrible stadium seating, all cramped and, hot. And yeah, I had to leave a bunch of times because I was feeling dizzy, and I ever drink too much caffeine. It was a hot summer, so yeah, I've used it a few times over the summer. I like winters a lot more for that reason.
Hey Rick, icebreaker on you. James, you're next.
Okay,
shit.
well,
And
I
that's it.
really hate mustard. Uh, and it's interesting because so my mom's Jewish, and anytime she asks for a sandwich, she says no mustard. They always like, oh, well, you can't be Jewish, but I think. So I actually don't like most things that have vinegar in it. When I was younger, I used to suck my thumb, so my parents would put mustard and pickle juice on my thumb to get me to stop. So I think that's why I have a hatred for that. So definitely not mustard. Mustard does not belong on hamburgers. I'm really mad at McDonald's. About 30 years ago, they started adding that. So it became a thing where sometimes I forget and I have mustard on it, go back, I don't want mustard. And then all my friends are done eating and they're ready to go. And I'm still waiting for my burger to be made, special ordered. So I'm definitely not a mustard person. I did discover like about 5 years ago, I do like spicy mustard. So it's the yellow mustard I really can't stand.
I just want to join in real quick. I don't like mustard. There's like one or two different ones that I can find out there that are like, I don't know what you want to call them, like a specialized like
Is it like a
mustard.
spicy brown mustard,
Yeah, like a
or
spicy
horseradish
one.
mustard?
I don't know if they still make it because I haven't had it in years, but Jack Daniels had a mustard and theirs was pretty good.
Mhm.
It was like a spicy one, and then there was I can't remember the other brand. Another friend of mine. I used to work at a grocery store when I was in college, so this was like 15 plus years ago or so. I worked at a grocery store and in the deli, and we could kind of grab whatever kind of different stuff we wanted off the shelves. So friends would come in and be like, "Okay, cool, yeah, I'll make this for you." And I tried different stuff. There's only a couple of different types of mustard that I like, though.
I actually
It takes
discovered.
something
Oh, sorry,
spicy or something, added into it. I don't like plain mustard. I'm really out of it today, guys. I'm so sorry.
It's all
I'm
right.
not
I'm
feeling
glad you're
well.
here.
My pancreas is really acting up. Um,
How does that go? It's like
I'm
pain.
I'm on some pain meds.
Mm.
If I can keep anything down, that's why I'm just kind of laying down here in bed.
Okay.
See all my little cross stitches up on the wall over here.
Yeah, I see him.
Hey, that leads us to
I'll
that
try
that
and keep up.
intro.
I'll try and keep my mouth shut today. I'm sorry,
No,
guys.
no, let's just get you this one icebreaker. What is your most prized possession now that we see all those cool little cross stitches?
Pocket watches.
Oh, yep. Pookie got it. I was about to say it would have to either be one of my cross stitches or one of my pocket watches. I do have a couple of big cross stitches that are like personal ones to me, and took a lot of time to do, so that they mean a lot to me. But I do have a couple of pocket watches that are quite old. My oldest pocket watch, I don't give a shit if you believe me or not. I can prove it though. But my earliest pocket watch is from 1820. So I've got a watch that's over 200 years old. You can
Nice.
push down the I don't know what you want to call it, the part that you twist at the top, you push it down, and then it chimes, for like each quarter hour. Like it's one of those like old fashioned, like British, like stereotypical type of ones. Like I've got a couple of rare watches. So either the watches or the cross stitches be my most prized ones. But yeah, sorry, I'm ranting. I'll try and shut up today. I'll be here. But I'll try not to chime in too much, man. I'm out of it for the minute. Sorry,
I'm
guys.
gonna bring you to it. I got a question for you instantly. Rick, your turn. Get ready for me, James.
Oh fuck! All right. What's up, Pookie?
We're gonna wait for Rick to go. Rick, what was it? Most prized possession?
So at first I was thinking my music collection. I just counted a few days ago a little bit more than 7,000 CDs and 387 albums. I lost my cassette collection, so I'm not counting those. But I was thinking this over as we were talking, and I think my most prized possession is my legacy as a good husband and a good father, because I take a lot of pride in that. My wife has had several husbands before me, and I'm her favorite husband, she always says. So I had a lot to do to reverse the damage she had from her previous relationships. And I'm much younger than my wife, so I had to, go above and beyond to prove myself with her family, to get past a lot of things. And
That is
also,
so adorable.
thanks. And also, my stepchildren, they had a lot of doubts and also a lot of emotional baggage from their fathers. So I had to really push to get accepted and push past that, and also be a great father to them and also my son. So that's my prized possession, is my legacy about that.
I don't know if I'm overstepping a little bit, but when you
To the
say
point.
much older, that made me think of this older lady that I dated. What do you mean by much older? Because this lady, she was as old as my mom. My mom's not that old though. She's like 52, 53.
We talked about all the different partners the other night.
Yeah, that was Rick.
Yeah,
What do you mean by much older?
yeah,
Everybody stay up to date on
I got one in there
insomnia.
too that's a little up there in age. We'll just say that
This one's for Rick.
I've thrown my hat in that
Married.
ring too. But
That's because us older ladies know what we want and know what we don't want and don't want to mess with the people that have what we don't want.
I wasn't like
Exa-
asking your wife's age, like how many more years in between you guys, I could say.
yeah, I mean,
Not you,
it gets to
James.
the point. I
I'm
don't
talking
know,
to
like.
Rick. I'm talking to Rick. I don't know if you've dated older women. Rick,
Yeah.
he's married successfully to a woman older than him.
And
Yeah,
overcome a
she's
lot of obstacles to achieve like total acceptance.
yeah. So there's a 16-year age difference between us.
Oh, that's not
My,
bad.
my official title is 1 month younger stepdad, because I have a stepdaughter who's a month older than I am.
Oh.
And
And
officially, I am
that contributes to
technically,
your legacy.
right? And
That
I'm technically a
absolutely
great
contributes.
grandfather.
Yeah.
How long has GILF been a thing? I thought it was always just MILF, but now GILF is like everywhere.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was
She's a
gonna say
cougar,
for
I'm
all
cougar bait.
Since all
I
of
was gonna
us
say
grandparents were looking so hot and sexy.
I was gonna say there's I know it was Brandon before, he's not here right now, but there's been a couple of us that are Formula One fans. So those of you that are into the sport of Formula One and you know Bernie Ecclestone, who used to own the sport, if you know about his extracurricular activities,
Yeah, you don't have to tiptoe, man. Just say what you're talking about.
then yeah. Bernie Ecclestone is literally in the top 10 of Guinness Book of World Records of oldest fathers. He fathered a child, I believe, at 92, 93 years old. I'd have to double check and look it up. But yeah, his wife was in her 60s. He was in his 90s, and he had daughters younger, or he had daughters younger than his wife at that time. So so he had children that were younger than his grandchildren. It was he's a very interesting man. We'll just leave it. We'll just say that.
It's very interesting. But yeah, I got something here. It says, after recovery from a motorcycle accident, my father passed away after a seizure. Was it painful? A bit of backstory for context. My father was involved in a motorcycle accident some years ago and sustained a traumatic brain injury in the process. He had a diffuse axonal shearing of his nerve fibers. During his recovery, I remember being told that he may have problems one day as things tried to regrow or come back together, seizures being one of them, if I recall correctly. But honestly, a lot of it was a lot of haze for me. My dad seemed to do well in his recovery, however, a little shy of 5 years after his incident, he had a pretty bad seizure and was admitted to the hospital. He was released after 24 hours and seemed to be in good spirits and nothing out of the ordinary. Fast forward to a month later, I received a call that no one wants to get from my uncle. My dad had a seizure and had passed away. I was told he got up from watching TV to go use the restroom, and when he stood up, that's when they believe he had a seizure, hit his head on the way down, and died as a result of the seizure itself. However, my dad lived alone and was not found for 2 days. I am worried that my dad could have been saved to some extent had someone been there. The coroner kept reassuring me that in her experience, it was, end quote, pretty instantaneous. I've had such guilt in the time since because my dad was living alone. But I know there was nothing I could do, as well as I am raising a young family in Texas, and he did not want to be in Texas. My question is, did my dad feel any of this, or did he just, end quote, check out altogether? Is there any truth to what the coroner said? Because most things read seem to point the other direction. Did he feel any pain? From the context, I wouldn't know, being that none of us were really there. And it's saying that he fell on the way down. That's kind of say so at this time. I don't know what he felt. If it's just a seizure, I don't think he felt anything unless you came out of it and then something happened. But seizures, I have to be reminded what's happening the 5 minutes before and all that. Other than that, I don't remember much time before it. What do you guys
Yeah, I think
think?
it's
You guys think that was painful?
probably on the safe side to assume that in a tonic-clonic, you're not aware, so you're not feeling the impacts of that event. And in my case, even a few minutes prior, I, would never remember. So I think anybody who has a history of unaware seizures, or even is in a tonic-clonic, it's safe to say they're not feeling those impacts.
Yeah, about the coroner saying that, I don't think the coroner necessarily knows what they're talking about when they say it was kind of instantaneous. Unless you have like drop seizures and you just drop and you hit your head and it's instantaneous. But personally, I just don't think that coroner knows what they're talking about. It's just me, maybe.
Yeah, just yeah. Ed, and again, sorry. I just wanted to say the same thing. Yeah, the coroner probably doesn't really know. I mean, and it's hard to say without the person giving you exact details of like the, you know, the report or whatever. Maybe the person fell and hit their head on something and it was instantaneous. They didn't mention that. Hopefully that wasn't, or you know, what do you say in this case? Like, hopefully it was the case, or
Hope he didn't suffer.
hopefully it wasn't the case. Like, what do you say? Yeah, exactly. You don't want them to suffer, but you also don't want it to be just like a terrible instantaneous, you know, thing to, you know, for the family to think about. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough either way, but I I think I just want to say that as somebody that who has never remembered a single seizure that I've had, or minutes before or minutes after, you know, if that was something that was, you know, the person had kind of going on in their life as a normal thing, if that was that type of seizure, then they probably did go peacefully and they probably didn't know what happened, and yeah, it just went along with it. It's sad. It's sad to say. I mean, it's sad either way, right? It's losing a family member, but yeah, it's I'm off in my thoughts. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up now.
Yeah, that's fine. I
All
mean,
right.
I agree with you on that. It's always a total blackout with, I mean, most of the time with most seizures, it's most grand malls. I know there's different grand malls, but yeah, it's a total blackout, and we don't remember anything or feel anything until afterwards. So yeah,
Yeah. I think if they're
yeah,
taking a random guess that he got up to go to the bathroom and that happened, if he stood up and had a seizure, then I'm doubting he felt it because, well, everyone is different. But for the most of mine, like I said, I don't remember up to maybe like 5 minutes before, unless I'm told, and then it comes to me in bits and pieces. But most of the time, I don't remember some minutes before. So he probably, yeah, if you had a tonic while standing up, he probably didn't suffer. He probably stood up and then was already gone. I mean, not
yeah,
passed, but
absolutely.
already mentally gone and yeah, not there with the situation. But yeah, there's a lot. He could have, yeah, he could have just fell and then had a seizure from the hit. You never know. But that's very sorry to hear you went through that. I'm going to go through a few of these comments. One says, I'm so sorry. He might have felt a little funky, maybe woozy, just briefly. It's very likely the rest wasn't conscious. He likely felt no pain. I'm so sorry for your loss. I had pretty much the same cause, motorcycle accident from experience. It's just a few minutes after one, and I'm back aware. And that's with the complex partial seizures. Grand mal, I'm usually unaware, unconscious for 20 to 30 minutes after. Point being, from experience, he wasn't aware after and most likely went into status. One more says he wouldn't have remembered seizing. Fortunately, he would have remembered getting up to go use the restroom, maybe. My husband says he doesn't have memories for a good 30 minutes to an hour before and then hours after the seizure. So it's possible he would have left off on a different memory too, almost instantaneously, as if they've said. He would have lost consciousness hence why he fell. And obviously, once you're unconscious, you're not storing memories anymore. He could have felt an aura oncoming, but I bet a pretty penny he was on some pretty strong meds. So if anything, he could have contributed the feeling to that. Some people report anxiety or panic as an aura, but from what I've seen, that's with people who have had epilepsy for a while. Most of the time, it's like an extra warning on top of the aura. I know it's hard and I know it's a shitty experience. I'm sorry, no words can fully express how deeply I feel for you right now. Please take care of yourself right now. You know he'd want this for his kiddo. Try to keep your head up.
Yeah, just I want to add. I think I've mentioned. I think I've said this. Once before. I had a seizure while with my family at Disneyland. Like I was, literally inside the park. We were by. If you're familiar with, if anyone has ever been to Disneyland, in fantasy, between Fantasyland and Frontierland, like right where the two places meet, that
About
little
30 years.
that little passageway there. My sister was pregnant at the time, so she was with us. So obviously we had to make a few extra bathroom trips during that time. And then so she was like, "Oh, I have to go pee again." I was like, "Ah, fine." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go use the restroom too." Came back out, and like within like 2 minutes, I was sweating. I felt really, really warm. I came back out of the bathroom, and that's the last thing I remember was walking out of the bathroom, and I handed my mom my jacket. And I was like, "Oh, I am so warm right now." But it was like, this was like 10 o'clock in like January or February, right? So it was like relatively cold at night. So my mom was like, "Hey, are you sure you're okay?" Blah, blah, blah. 2 minutes later, I'm down on the ground, flopping around, having a seizure, just out in public, out in the middle of nowhere. And if, let's say, worst case scenario, something did happen, to me, that was the last of me. The last thing I would have remembered would have been being with my family at Disneyland. So, even if there is, a tough situation where someone passes away, their last memory could possibly be something very, very enjoyable, as well. Because honestly, if I had never, the next thing I remember after that was being pushed down Main Street in Disneyland by a couple of paramedics and a security guard. They're taking me out of the, taking me out of Disneyland, and that's the last thing I remember, after waking up. So possibly if that was me being done, that my last memory would have been, an awesome memory at Disneyland with my family. So even if that was like a unfortunate way to go, my last memory would have been great. So you could always think of it that way too, as, that last person, the last thing that they did remember was something special or a family event, or, look at it positively that way, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of positive ways to look at it.
They said that Thomas Edison, the guy who invented the light bulb, he actually had epilepsy. And it was a funny thought. What if it was photosensitive epilepsy? But yeah, maybe he had photosensitive seizures. But he did have epilepsy, they said. And then the guy who invented the dynamite, he also had epilepsy, which is very interesting. That type of career, inventing dynamite. Yeah. With epilepsy, that's amazing. That's a big risk. So we can do it, you guys. We can invent another dynamite. Anyhow, got
I
one
think
here
you
that
did,
says,
Pookie. You invented this.
huh?
I think you did, Pookie. You invented this.
Oh, man, I just put somebody else's idea into work. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Just like Thomas Edison.
yeah, put somebody else's idea to work. Okay, I got
That's
something else.
pretty much what Edison did. He put everyone else's ideas to work. He stole a lot of ideas from other people.
I didn't know that much. He also created the motion picture camera, which, yeah, like you said, I heard about a couple of his inventions being stolen from other people.
I'm not saying you stole any ideas. I'm just saying.
I've read a few things about it, not you in particular. I got something to know that says anyone else get them from fast temperature change. So for some critical context, I got a semi-regular, probably 4 to 5 a day absent seizures due to a TBI in my youth. I'm baking cookies at the moment and walked from the kitchen where I checked the oven to the living room where there's a good air conditioner and it caused me to seize. Does anyone else get the similar experiences? First comment says, I've had a seizure-like symptoms from getting too cold, especially if it's sudden. I say seizure-like symptoms because I have both epileptic, focal aware, and focal impaired, and non-epileptic seizures, and I can't always tell which is which. That's what I was thinking. I think I said that earlier. Like, do they feel different?
It happened to me in a walk-in freezer, and the headache lasted longer.
I get light fevers afterwards, so there's that, but yeah, it usually doesn't send me into a seizure. Usually I'm in the emergency room and they help me out with that.
Ah, shoot. That's why I won't go out in a blizzard in Buffalo because the house is,
That's the main reason?
yeah.
The
'Cause
blizzard? That's
no, really, hear me out. What creates a blizzard? Snow and wind, right? And we're getting wind from the Arctic, which is very, very cold. So it isn't unusual during a blizzard in Buffalo, New York, for our wind chill factor to be 20, 22 to 35 below zero.
1 second, Ann. 1 second.
Yeah.
The Bills won last night. It was fucking awesome. I bet they did good. They did really good last night. That was a good game. I won some money. I bet on them, so I had to say that. Go ahead. Back to Buffalo. They did good last night. That was a great game.
And that was a great game. And so, but yeah, we can get a wind chill that's like 30 below zero. That literally you will get hypothermia in 5 minutes. So let's say I really, really want a cigarette and it's really, really windy. And I thought I was going to be okay. And by the time I get back in the house, I've got tremors and I face plant on the floor because I went from nice and cozy warm to ice cold, smoking a cigarette, go back in the house to nice and cozy warm, and the seizure hits me. So I have to be careful during times like that. Or like I can't go camping anymore for that reason. Like if I get too cold overnight, I can't warm up fast enough when I wake up. So stuff like that. But no, a blizzard in Buffalo, I will never go outside ever again until the wind chill is at least above zero. Yeah, that's just Buffalo squish.
I haven't gotten to see snow yet. I'm from California. We don't get that often, especially in the area I'm in. Yeah, so I haven't got to touch any snow yet.
Yeah, same with you, Pookie. For anybody that doesn't know, I'm right by Pookie. So sorry, I might say places names that other people don't know, but yeah, Pookie. One time when I was driving down to SoCal, I got a lot of friends down there. We were driving through the Grapevine, and like right at the top where it gets the coldest and everything. This was December, so we stopped at Fort Tejon, the rest stop there, and there was like maybe like half an inch of like snow on the ground that like the second you picked it up, like it would turn into water. Like it was barely snow, but that's the closest
hail.
I've ever been to snow. I have a picture of it like on my computer. This is like mid 2000s, bro. This is like old times, right? And like I have like a picture, like my friend and I made like a like 6-inch tall like snowman. Like that was it. Like that was all the snow that was there. And like being the area that we're from, like we were just like, oh my god, this is the most snow we've ever seen in our life. And we made this tiny little snowman out of it. We took these two little I don't know what you want to call them, little like I don't know, pine nuts or whatever, like from a tree that fell, and like
Sounds like hail.
used it as the eyes on it. Like it was just like the shittiest, tiniest little snowman ever, but that's how you get out here in this area, right? And like so
Yeah, it
my
sounds like hail.
yeah, my 40 years of life, that's the only snow I've ever seen.
I seen some on the side of the road and on the way to Tahoe. That's going through the mountains, but I didn't get to like throw any snowballs like you guys. I wanted to make a snow angel. I've always thought of such stuff like that. Build a snowman. We'll never get that in California. I mean, the
But it's
sunshine.
safe to say that snow is on the bucket list for both of you guys, right?
Not necessarily. I want to go to Croatia before I see some snow. So there's not a.
All right. It'll be fun if you get to it.
Yeah, Croatia has some great beaches. I've heard.
No, I've been East Coast. I've been like Tennessee and Virginia, but those were always like summertime trips. So yeah, coldest I've ever been was just that one little area. So like I said, the snow melted the second you touched it. So it was probably only like, barely 30 degrees or so. I've never had like wind chill factor being like -20, -30, nothing like that. I've never experienced that. We just don't get those mood swing change temperature changes out here.
Yeah, like yesterday it was kind of sunny, but it was kind of cloudy. It was like, they call it overcast. And then we got like 5 minutes of heavy rain.
Yeah, it was hella weird. And during the day when I was at work outside, it was humid as hell. I was like in a t-shirt, never wear a t-shirt. I was sweating. It was hella humid. And then at night it rained. I'm like, how is this weather going like back and forth like this crazy?
And I was actually doing laundry, and since it started raining, I didn't go get the laundry, and I just thought about it. The laundry is still there. I got a post here, and it says, had a seizure in front of a loved one. I'm feeling kind of humiliated. It's obviously not a choice I can make, but I couldn't stop apologizing. It feels horrible. Really ruined my day seeing them and ruined my weekend as well. I don't want to talk to them because I feel so ashamed. I'm sure we all went through this, right? I think right is the question because I went through this and then right. Yeah, I went through it. I felt humiliated a couple of times, but I was younger. Any advice for this person having seizures in front of people and how to feel and how to go about? I wouldn't say stop apologizing. Maybe once or twice, give a decent apology.
Psalm 101. I have
Yeah.
epilepsy. I'm going to have seizures. Don't take it personally. I think too many people who witness that will take it personally. At least I've had that happen. But they get really scared, and I get that. But yeah, Tom 101. I'm gonna have a seizure. You know,
Yeah.
unfortunately it happened, but thanks for being there for me. That's all I got. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Can't predict. I mean, prevent it. I mean, yeah. Don't apologize too many times. Apologize maybe once or twice. Like I said, a decent apology to get past. But yeah, the humiliated part. Sometimes it's hard not to feel like that. Depending on in front of who you have a seizure in front of. As once upon a time, I had first date syndrome. So just imagine what that's like. Believe it like that. Yeah, wasn't fun.
You could have played the pity card so easy on that.
Oh yeah, it did. It worked.
As I say, yeah, you could do you know, yeah, do a poopy
There
set
were
thing,
second.
first date thing, play that off, or yeah,
Yeah.
you just you can't control it. Yeah, like, you know, one or two apologies is acceptable depending on the situation. The person say, you know, all the details of it. Like, you know, say you were out at dinner and then you had one and like your arm, you know, you slapped their soda, you know, all over them. Then like, yeah, of course you're gonna apologize and feel bad about it. You're gonna say
Oh
an
no, mine was
apology.
even worse.
You're
The
gonna say
lady,
an apology or two, but
the lady that was handed me the food, I knocked over the whole tray. So
oh,
yeah, she was
dang.
bringing our food, and
Oh no.
she said it looked like I was reaching to push the tray on the ground, and that's exactly what I did. I went like this, and I pushed the tray on the ground, and then I had a seizure. Well, yeah, that one was rough. But yeah, I liked her. She called back the next day. How you doing? Checked on me. Um, asked me if I wanted to hang out. It didn't go anywhere after that. But yeah, a few dates and
Yeah,
out.
yeah. It just depends on the situation. If it's, you know, if it's something like that
I
where the
know good
person
people.
understands and handles it, or if it's somebody that has no clue, you know, they don't even know what epilepsy is or whatever, and then you have one and you throw their drink, you know, throw their drink on them or, you know, something like that, and they don't understand. Yeah, there's very different, you know, levels of that situation.
Or I got a funny story. Another first date had a seizure on the date. Yeah, it was at a restaurant. The funny part is now we have a kid. There we go.
There was a success story 5 years ago about somebody on the one of the subreddits saying, I met my wife on this subreddit and here we are 5 years later and it's a wedding photo. So those success stories are out there too.
We had a good kid, and that was it.
You guys are gonna think something about this one here. I'm sure everybody will have something to say. This epileptic Canadian man with a US green card dies in ICE custody. This was posted 3 months ago. CBC News article, Canadian citizen who had a green card since 1998 and a known epileptic died in ICE custody, even though he'd been lawfully jailed for past criminal offenses. The how and why he'd been transferred to immigration control is mind-blowing. He hadn't been given access to his meds since arriving at ICE holding. ICE and their department are refusing to say it at the time, but it is safe to assume he had a seizure that may or may not have gone into SUDEP or had an episode while sleeping that had him or caused him to fall on the hard concrete floor of those camps. Be careful, keep an eye on your fellow epileptic friends of color to help make sure they're safe and to prevent similar things from happening. All right, this brings it closer to home.
Yeah, obviously memories and time don't go well for all of us, but I want to guess this was probably like I don't know, sometime 2 to 3 years ago. I saw this story that yeah, a man had been jailed and he was denied his epileptic medication. The reason that he had it, you know, wasn't wasn't something that most people sympathize with. It said he had alcoholic epilepsy. So like he had to take a few drinks, every few hours or whatever, or else he would have them, or he had to make sure that he was on his medication. I don't remember what he was arrested for. Like I said, this was a few years ago, but basically he was denied his medication, and obviously once you're in jail, they're not going to be like, here's a couple shots. So he ended up having a seizure, fell, hit his head, and he died while in police custody. It was somewhere here in the US. I don't remember the details. I need to look it up. I'm sure it could be looked up really quickly, but yeah, they just denied him his medication or the other substance that he needed that might have kept him from having them. And it was basically just like nothing was ever. I mean, this like I said, this was a couple of years from now, so maybe things have changed, maybe some lawsuit has come or whatever, but at first, nothing was ever done about it. Nothing was ever given to the family. Nothing was ever said that it was the police's fault. They just said, oh, he drank, it was on him, sorry, that sucks, bye. Like, this was basically all that was ever done with the situation, as as recent as I've read about it. But
I didn't have anything for that one. Can I move on? Or you got some comments for that one?
Oh, for the epileptic one, I mean, it happened in Florida, so go figure.
Best
And a
place
lot
to
of
have
the
a
comments,
seizure, right?
never in custody. Never
Oh,
ever in custody in Florida. No, they are camps down here. It's not the ICE camps are bad. Those are the whatever those things are called that they bring on the trains in, like, all the Walmarts that closed during COVID. They're using those parking lots as ICE processing places.
alligator Alcatraz.
There you go. That one's even bigger. But
okay.
yeah, a lot of the comments are just saying that's not good enough. Native US born people who are also Canadian citizens are just choosing to go back to Canada as soon as they get questioned. Like, dual citizenship seems to be questioned way too much on this whole, you know, plan or whatever is being executed. And that's another unfortunate realization. Good.
I got some here, you guys. It's I read the what's it called? The caption first, and I thought it would be interesting, and I just knew it would happen like this. From what I read, I waited to read it with you guys. It says concert with boyfriend. Hey guys, I'm going to see Billie Eilish with my boyfriend pretty soon, and I'm worried how his seizures will be. His triggers are flashing lights and loud noises. Is there anything I can bring to help him feel more comfortable? And thanks. There are one comment, and it says emergency supplies such as earplugs, covers, eye mask, and rescue meds if he has them. Basically, stuff that can block out his triggers if he starts to feel sick. I can't
Yeah,
say.
I was gonna say rescue med as a first, just as a first thing to make sure that he has on him. I'm not photosensitive with mine, but if I do go to, like, I don't know, like I don't want to say I don't go out to clubs or nothing, but like anywhere that has something with like music and like flashing lights, or like you go on like an amusement park where there's a bunch of like flashing lights, like it does make me feel a little weird, a little off. But I know I'm not, but it's never triggered anything. I'm not photosensitive, so I would say to that person, if they're going for it, just you know their person, you know that person's situation, make sure they have a rescue med that might help, or yeah, just when the flashing lights are going on, that music's going on, just stand there, looking at him and dancing, having your fun or whatever. Make sure he's not seeing the flashing lights, or yeah, something like that. There's just not really a exact way to prevent it. So
Personally, if my triggers are lights and sound, personally, I wouldn't go. Then again, personally, I took a risk going to the weekend concert. And I just hope for the best, and then I went alone. But yeah, I don't risk just testing your safety. I mean, I don't suggest trusting your safety.
I
Yeah,
mean, the girl
so-
after the fact would probably not help but question if that was selfish of him to go, knowing his triggers and kind of setting her up for having to handle that. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah. Also, yeah, if she wants to go to the concert, that doesn't mean he has to go as well. But yeah, don't risk your safety. Don't do shit that I do, because yeah, like me, I said I went to the concert and just hope for the best. I had my bracelet and I let the girl next to me know. So not that that was any better. Yeah. A lot of lights and cameras and lasers and smoke and fire and stuff.
I mean,
It was amazing.
I mean, a lot of times we all say we gotta, we realize what we have, but then at the same time, all of us are just like, we got to live our lives, and we have to do this, we have to do that. What else are we gonna do? We got to joke about it. We got to get out there. We like those types of things. Depending on the situation, and like I say that to myself, like pretty much every morning. I've mentioned I'm into bicycling. I ride my bike virtually every day, and like, because I obviously we can't drive, but there's always like that one tiny little spot in the back of my head that's like, what's gonna happen if I have a seizure while I'm riding my bike? Right? Like, I'm in the bicycle lane, have one, fall over into the car lane, car hits me.
And
It's a
eventually you learn
very,
to put those thoughts away.
yeah, exactly. It's a very real situation, but at the same time, like, what am I supposed to do? Just, buy 100 pounds of bubble wrap, wrap it around me and just walk around the house wrapped in bubble
Share
wrap,
your
just trying to
location.
keep myself safe. Like, no, I still, I'm a human. I still want to live my life. I'm gonna get out. So there's some risks that you have to take, that you want to take, and that you need to take, and you just kind of at some point just got to boil it down and realize, which ones are the ones that you want to, or the certain things that you want to risk, making that decision for. So if, yeah, once every 5-10 years it's going to a concert, then go ahead, do it. Go ahead and do it. Have some fun. Just make sure that, yeah, you're there with, like, it sounds like in this situation, they're there with their partner that knows what the consequences and what could happen, as long as you're with somebody safe, or that you feel safe, and that knows your situation and everything. So
when you say that, the safe thing, I don't know what it is, but I kind of get a rush when I'm kind of not in a safe situation. It's weird to say. It's like when I'm out and about and I know I'm not supposed to be out and about in public, it makes me feel good. I'm kind of rebellious.
Yeah, independence,
You're here at the
independence,
moment.
right?
I'm dealing with siblings, not parents, so more rebellious
No,
these days. and I just
I
go and
said
do what
it.
I want, and I don't let anybody know I'm doing what I want to do. So that's what I
Mhm.
get a little rush from. Like I'm doing this, and nobody knows I'm doing it, and hasn't shot me in the foot yet. Not really bad, but I've missed a train. Yeah, I've missed a train because I was taking a selfie and
Yeah, the selfie start.
where.
Yeah.
So there's been that, but otherwise that was funny. Otherwise, I don't suggest doing it, but yeah, I'm dealing with
Yeah.
siblings and not parents, so sometimes I'm a little more rebellious against them, and then I hear from the parent later.
But why you
Yeah.
gotta
No,
talk
no, no.
shit when
I
when we
just
do it
wanted to
with our parents?
mention I didn't say parents. I said independence.
Oh no,
Like
I was just saying in
like
general.
going out on your own gives you that sense of independence, and then it makes you feel like
Makes me
free
feel good.
versus yeah, when you have somebody like always looking over your shoulder, like, hey, you were, you took a shower today for 15 minutes instead of 10 minutes. Is everything okay? Like somebody just always, counting everything, looking over your shoulder.
And when you need to get the fuck away from that, it's totally
Yeah.
fine if you leave your location known with your daughter and she knows where you're at and you can come back 3 hours later and be totally fine. You got somebody who knows where you're at and can check on you periodically. And if the parent never finds out, then as a fully grown adult, that's allowed. I shouldn't feel bad about that.
Sounds like a personal experience to me.
Go ahead, move on. I don't have siblings to deal with, so
Yeah.
I can't feel bad about keeping it from mom every
Is
now and
that
then.
yeah? I could rant about it for a bit, but I won't. Today's not the day.
And you say
Yeah,
going to a
James, I
concert once
know.
every 5 years? That I don't know. 6 months is
Yeah,
long enough.
James, I knew a guy who rode a bike and had a seizure on a bike. Yeah, he didn't have a good story for it.
Hey, James, do you ride an electric bike?
Um. Well, yes and no. I mean, my I've mentioned before my backstory. I've always been a bicyclist. I started working at a bicycle shop when I was
Well, I know
15
all
in
that.
high
I mean,
school.
just
But
like
I have both. So I have both. I have electric and non-electric. It just depends what type of bicycle riding I'm doing. But
okay,
so yeah, yeah.
it just depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm looking more for like an exercise, then I'll just ride a non-electric one, do some bike trails. If it's, more of a commuter bike or I'm running some errands, then I'll take, my electric one and run to the grocery store and, load it up with pounds of groceries and yeah. So it just depends. Yeah.
That would be cool.
The thing with the concert, back to the concert and the sounds and stuff, it made me think about yesterday when I was watching football. I seen the little baby had the headphones on. Yeah, the lady was holding her baby and he had these big earmuff headphones on. So I was thinking that, but that also would suck. Because you wouldn't be able to hear it as well, and it might be a little muffled. But yeah, to not have a seizure, I'd do that if it was a good concert. Personally, Billie Eilish wouldn't be my go-to, but yeah, to each his own. Anybody advice for taking your boyfriend to a concert? No, not all of us have boyfriends. Go ahead, Rick.
I always like taking my boyfriends to concerts, except for
No fun,
usually,
right?
usually I have to pay for it all, so I'm paying extra attention to, how they're feeling, make sure that they're comfortable.
Right. Yeah, if I was her, just make sure he's comfortable. Check on him, get him some earphones, or at least try. Some people might be like, "Oh no, I don't want the headphones." Seen that happen before. What's it called? Rescue meds. Would that work, you guys? You like take some nasalium at a concert? How would that go?
That would ruin the concert because there's still aftercare involved. You can't just prop them back up in the chair and get back to having
Yeah.
fun.
Not like they're back to it. Yeah, I haven't thankfully we the school I work at, we do have a like a special needs class. But it's mostly, kids that are like autistic. Nobody with epilepsy yet, but yeah, some of them just trying to be kind of a nice, patient person with them, a little understanding. I have been, hit a couple of times. Obviously, it's little kids, so it's not, it's not a big deal or anything, right? We're talking about like 7, 8, 9 year olds, not a big thing. But at least, yeah, still I understand it a little bit more than, some of the other people that work there. And it has been kind of tough because then I end up, I don't know, feeling a little bit more for them and spending more time on that. And then I know I should be doing something else. And
I got something here. It says, AI Gemini has convinced me I'm going to have a seizure. Please help. Before I read this, I don't suggest listening to AI about medical advice, but to each his own. It says, so I've recently came off clonazepam. Did I say that right? Clonazepam. And I'm on tapentadol, which both lower seizure threshold. I asked AI, what is deja vu? I'd like before a seizure, as I keep getting random thoughts out of nowhere in my head because certain people I was with on the weekend feel slightly anxious. I also feel dizzy and dreamlike, but pretty sure that the tapentadol, as I usually feel this way off of it. But what is deja vu like before a seizure? Personally, couldn't tell you. One of the comments here says, don't want to scare you, but it's how I know one is coming on. It's like I have an intense feeling of deja vu, remembering things that never happened and feeling like I'm living the same day over and over, staying hydrated, making sure that I'm taking meds on time and getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep each night seems to help. Hope that helps you. Deja vu advice. I haven't got it, so I'm hoping you guys can explain deja vu advice.
I don't know about advice, but as far as a description, I mean, as I experience it before a seizure, it's kind of this feeling of like this has happened before, like wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, even like I know for sure that it is a new event, location, whatever. I definitely haven't done this, but I have this overwhelming eerie sensation like this moment, this brand new moment in space-time has occurred before, but I can't place my finger on it. I don't actually have a full memory of having done it or been there before, but it feels like there should be a memory there. It feels like it's happened before. I don't know. It's hard to put into words a lot of these sensations, but it's kind of the best I can do. It's like this has happened before. I don't remember it. I know it hasn't, but it feels like I should know what's going to happen next, kind of, because I already know. I don't know.
I know what you mean.
That's yeah.
No, it really is hard to describe because I don't know if I had deja vu before seizures, but the closest thing I can think to describe to that would be like the brain skips, like because time was always such a weird thing. Like I would have like a sort of a blackout, like a time skip in my head and it felt like I jumped forward. So maybe I feel like I don't know that I don't know. There was a
Now where to go, sweetie?
like a Futurama episode where they were all skipping forward in time, and that's where I don't know, and maybe that's what I kept feeling like when I was having those auras. It was I felt like I was leaping forward in time, but everyone else was stuck there, and or I just that's how I would describe my deja vu. Like I kept like I was skipping forward in time, but I was still there. I don't know. It's an awful description, but everyone's different. So
I feel like I remember a quote from that episode from Fry. Like, didn't he
yeah,
say something like, "Is it now yet? I can't remember,"
yeah,
or something like he's jumping around and yeah. Oh man, I love me some Futurama.
yeah.
That's a good reference, a good way to kind of.
It's difficult, yeah, but that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, that show has some really good like reflective on life type of moments. My favorite episode, dude, I still can't watch it like without like tearing up, is the one where it describes like his background story. You know, where he goes to deliver the pizza and
Oh,
then
the
falls in
dog,
that, yeah, in the time machine, and then his dog is,
Seymour.
yeah, is sitting out there waiting in front of the pizza shop for him to come back, and like, dude, that makes me like cry like every time I see it. Like I almost want to right now just thinking about it. Like it's such a good episode.
Sounds
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, if yeah, anybody that hasn't seen it or hasn't watched that show, yeah, that's definitely like, yeah, one to check out for sure.
One of the last comments here on this AI Gemini convincing medical device. One last comment says, "Can't really tell you. I have auras or used to which I describe as funny feelings in my head from mild to super intense. And when I had grand malls frequently, I never had a sense of deja vu. And now they're mainly nocturnal, so I have to wait until I go see my neurologist to check on my seizure activity. You also can't go looking towards AI Gemini for medical advice, especially epilepsy and seizures as AI. Use largely language modules and grabs any information it can find floating around and puts it together into an easy way to explain seizures. Don't listen to ChatGPT.
No, it's like a really fancy souped up predictive text algorithm. What you're going to say next. Instead, it's like, well, what do you want to hear next? And it just spits it right back out at you. So if it picks up in whatever statistical workings, comprise its algorithm that you are describing seizures, it will latch onto that and feed back to you. Here's how your symptoms can be interpreted as being seizures. And so it's not objective diagnostic any more than like a WebMD search. The only difference is it can do it in a way that sounds like it's written more naturally like a doctor, which if anything probably makes it more dangerous than WebMD searches of past for whatever symptoms. Yeah, don't listen to any AI models for any sort of medical advice. If you're trying to search your own symptoms for sure. Yeah, that's
I got something. Says finally met my neurologist, and I don't know what to think. Man, met my new neurologist today, honestly, because it was so new to me. I had no idea what to expect. I was afraid afraid that I'd be dismissed and sent to a psych or something. However, when I explained my symptoms for the umpteenth time between the nurse practitioner, a student, and the neuro, he wanted me to explain and demonstrate what movements happened during the episodes. When I showed him flexion in my arm, mostly, and he said it was phenomenal symptom. No idea what that means, LMAO. Always kept saying my symptoms were interesting. It went a lot better than most of my horror stories I've heard. I've got an MRI scheduled before my next appointment, and he's referring me to an epileptologist that he highly recommends. That, and he's a trusted doctor in my family, so that's a plus. I'm hoping the Kepler will help, considering the episodes are now happening at work instead of just at home. I just looking for some advice. I already heard keep my head up enough times. They're not looking for keep your head up. Basically, we're going to see a new neurologist. I haven't met mine, and I'm going to meet him for the first time over video chat, so I'm not too into that. But I hope the best for you, that they don't send you to psych or dismiss your stuff.
The best way to avoid that is to have all your ducks in a row. Have every piece of evidence you can as to why these are not psychological and you don't need psychological treatment, and you're not at some breaking point where they need to recommend you be carted away inpatient, and stay focused.
Yeah, get all your notes ready. Go there. Look confident. Advocate for yourself. I don't know if looking confident will help. Still shut you down. I've seen. Afraid to go to sleep. The past 2 weeks, my loved ones have been really busy and troubled. I can't approach them right now, and I've been feeling really lonely. Last night I might have had a seizure. I'm not sure. Didn't bite my tongue, and nothing is out of place, but I had painful brain fog I get after one. I woke up early in the morning and was not able to go back to sleep at all. I was wondering if I could ask for some reassurance here tonight, some comfort before trying to sleep again. Give me better odds, I think.
All the factors that we're giving them, or they were hoping to give them better odds at, being controlled.
I say don't be afraid to go to sleep. Have somebody watch you, maybe check on you every now and then. Do that. I don't know much else if you can't ask your family to help or loved ones. Yeah, what I do when my loved ones don't help, I just kind of make someone else aware. I have this camera right here in my room. My mother can check on it every now and then, call me if she thinks I'm doing something weird or can't hear me. Yeah, and it has a microphone on it just in case she wants to say anything and I don't answer it, then she calls. But get you some cameras to watch you sleep. That should give you a little more, make you a little more comfortable with going to sleep. Then you can check the footage overnight as well. First comment here says, I get this feeling. It's hard for me to sleep most nights. I've had most of all my grand mals in my sleep, so it's crazy. But I notice that I feel better sleeping with the TV on some kind of show or YouTube video on in the background. My go-to is Whose Line Is It? Sometimes I read or do a word search before I go to bed, something that makes me feel normal. You got this, homie. Lay back, watch something funny, or doom scroll, and go to bed. I hope you get a wonderful night's sleep. 26-year-old female started having seizures in January 2023 out of nowhere. No family history, no brain injuries, and no health problems. I'm a little overweight, but I've seen 3 neurologists since then, and all of them have had different things to say. The first one told me that I'm having them because I was fat, and once I lost weight, to come back and he would actually see me. The second one done a 30-minute EEG with lights flashing in my eyes and told me that he was, in quote, stumped. And to see someone else, the third one, who I'm still seeing, seemed great. My first appointment, he sat me down and explained the different types of seizures and what triggers are for other people. Then asked me and my sister to explain how mine were. Here's one of my many problems. I have no idea what grandma feels like. I've had 6 to 7 in my sleep, and I mean dead sleep. The last one I had, I was awake and in the car, but I still don't know what my trigger was. And another problem, I have both grandma and absent seizures. The only reason we know for sure is that I have an absent seizures are from a week-long EEG I had with a new doctor. I had one while I was looking out of the window at the hospital. Never fell or passed out. Just told my mom I was feeling weird, then boom, I was gone. Right before I had felt it, I was having an anxiety attack, heart pounding, and ragged breathing. It was weird. The next morning, my doctor came in and was like, "Yep, you had an absent seizure," and showed me the tests and camera footage. Since I've seen my doctor a total of 3 times, I only because of how frequent I'm having my seizures now. He's changed my meds and gave me new ones, which haven't worked, and took me off of old meds, which switched everything around. I feel like I'm going crazy and I can't do anything alone or go anywhere without being bothered by someone else. I can't sleep because of the meds, and I'm afraid if I do, I'll seize and not come out of it. Then I'm gone for good. My doctor won't order any more tests or hear me out about how I'm feeling or taking these meds. And the cherry on top, I have no diagnosis, nothing, nada. Seizures out of nowhere and no diagnosis to help me. I'm stressed out and so confused. I just want someone who actually helped me listen. I don't care what the tests have to do or how long I have to spend in the hospital at this point. I'm afraid that if something doesn't happen soon, I'll give up on trying to get help myself and stop caring.
So what this person is dealing with if their medication isn't working, it seems like that was a lot of information.
Yeah, it was 3 doctors.
Okay,
That's
so I've had bad doctors, or one bad doctor, but pretty good doctors. If you aren't finding a good doctor, well, always self-advocate, as they say. Just research the medicines, keep looking for a good doctor. Keep doing that.
So, okay, yeah, um it's a difficult process, like getting the diagnosis. Um I mean, I would want to mention that, a single 30-minute EEG coming back clear is not really anything significant, uh, either for or against. So don't take that as though you are being written off by the doctor necessarily, in and of itself. Um, I mean, in the broader scope of the story, it sounds like that may have been what was happening, but I'm not sure. I was having a little bit of trouble keeping track of all of the information that was being provided. But that's part of the whole diagnostic process behind epilepsy is just information, gathering information, you know, um, and so if you're just starting out having seizures, if you're just starting out this whole process, then um, the as Kevin said, self-advocacy is important, but don't feel like you're left out in the cold, or that you are like uh, singularly alone in this situation. There are a lot of us who are in a very similar position who have gone through a lot of different tests and have not really had any, or a lot of different doctors, a lot of appointments and not found anything to resolve it. No label or anything necessarily. But I mean, keep at it is really the only thing that you can do. The process is tedious, but following up is important. And if you have a doctor who's willing to continue any sort of investigation, I think, wasn't that what had happened with the story? At the end, they found a doctor who said that they're like when they reenacted the movements that he found it interesting and stuff and was, or am I getting things mixed up?
No, you heard it right.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you have a doctor who thinks you're interesting, you're going to get attention there.
That's
that is
awesome.
something. Yeah. So, I mean, you've probably hit a sort of jackpot in that sense. If your doctor finds what you're saying to be interesting, um, you know, that's have him figure you out. If you are the puzzle that gets him excited, that's a good thing. And it still might take him time to put all the pieces together, but an interested and focused practitioner is something to hold on to.
One thing I did catch that I thought was kind of messed up was the doctor said come back when they lose weight. Is that like, can you sue someone for saying something like that? That's insane. You can have seizures because you're overweight, is what they're saying. Has anybody ever heard of something like that? Seizures from overweight? I gotta look that up.
That doesn't sound like a simple way of putting it. A doctor would have to, they can refuse service, they can refuse to take on a patient for any reason. But if they're actually trying to cite being overweight as the reason, that doesn't sound like they're giving enough detail. I've had doctors say, get this condition under control before, we could talk about anything else. But unless it was something cardiac or, respiratory maybe, then I don't see how a doctor could ever just refuse somebody for that one thing if it's not an active, threat to their life.
Don't know if I always advocate for personal health, and it bothers me that doctors don't look into what a person's doing on the front line first, what they're eating, and I think that should be what they ask first. You know, what is your diet? What is your lifestyle? I think that should be what they look into first. But I don't know why a doctor would just say, "Are you overweight?" Then just shrug them off. I would need a little more information on that. Um, but yeah, that seems suspicious. Uh, you know, you know, I I would I would be very concerned about a doctor like that.
Yeah, she said the first doctor told me I was fat, and once I lost weight, come back and he would actually see me.
That's that's the actual words. You're fat, go away.
That's from what I'm reading. That's I gave you as much context as it says. That's really messed up.
Why would you ever want to go back if somebody said that to you?
Oh, I remember this one. Says my girlfriend drinks lemon juice and tons of it. She put it on chips and drenches it in it. So much that there's a puddle left over in the bowl after she's done, and then she drinks it. I tell her she's not supposed to do that, but she thinks it's okay and doesn't affect her seizures. She has epilepsy and tons of other health issues. Can someone shed some light on if I should fight her over this? She just had her third seizure in the last 20 minutes. Something's going on. Um,
Lemon juice, like the fruit.
it's spelled like that. Lemon juice.
Would
Like
she be
lemonade, but
overdose?
without the extra sugar? Like, what
Like
is, how is that something concerning for
Would
epilepsy?
it be like an overdose of citric acid or something, maybe?
Possible. I've heard of that.
yeah.
Or what the
But is it,
citric
I
acid
mean,
does to our
citric acid
medication.
is water soluble, isn't it? Doesn't it just come out in your urine
I have
next
no
time you
idea.
do? I don't know, that was my impression, that it just,
I was just trying to think of something that was in lemons, and I thought of citric acid.
In rare and extreme cases, an overdose of lemon juice can potentially cause seizures due to severe electrolyte imbalance.
Well, there you go.
If it's
Okay.
close enough to grapefruit juice, I mean, or
Yeah,
grape juice.
yeah, I've heard
That's
that
what I was thinking.
grapefruit juice breaks our medication down differently than.
well, yeah, there's a monoamine oxidase inhibitor that specifically stops the enzyme in the liver that breaks down a lot of different medications.
So,
Yeah,
so is this fresh lemon juice or actual lemon? There's
There's no specification if it's lemonade or lemon juice or the
It
from
says lemon
concentrate or
juice, but it doesn't
there's
say if it's lemon juice out of a bottle or a fresh
like
squeeze. So
like lemon kind of, okay, I'll just okay.
it depends on what kind of
Um,
chips it's on for me. I mean, yeah,
Maybe she's just weird because I used to drink pickle juice when I was a kid.
but that's common. To put
but
pickle
yeah,
juice on
pickle
chips would
juice
be
is a
different.
thing.
he just wants something to blame because she had a cluster right after the snack. So, or during the snack, maybe. But he was saying what, 3 seizures in 20 minutes or something. So
Hmm.
it sounded like there was a cluster going on, and they always want something to blame so that they can make sure to cut that habit out. And that's a really good situation for, you know, what he wants to get done.
Does she always have seizures when that happens, though?
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're gonna have to take note of. If they're actually taking this seriously about researching whether it's a threat, then go ahead, have that snack every day for a month and we'll tally it up.
All right.
You should
Best of luck
Then
you
with
should
that.
always take note of, yeah, write that down in your food journal or what. Yeah, take note of everything. Yeah, that's very
And don't be
important.
surprised if next month when, yes, there were 3 or 4 seizures, if you just switch it up, have that snack earlier in the day rather than, after work, have that on the lunch break or something,
Or
a
what
lot of
happens if
things,
you don't
everything
eat it?
changes.
What happens if you don't have it?
Try that. But he doesn't say if this is our first time or not.
Or
'Cause-
what about lime juice?
I don't know. Squeeze a lime over it. I don't know. Makes me want some chips with lime now. First comment here says, I've never heard of anything like lemon juice triggering seizure, but every person is different. Sounds delicious, by the way. Another one says, I'm convinced this is a shit post. Then the person says, no, bro, we had a tough night last night. Another one says, it is more likely she is farming a chronic gastro problem and overweight with this habit than anything related to epilepsy. It's kind of mean. But
I think it's on everybody's weight.
yeah, they didn't say anything about her weight. That person was kind of rude about that. We're asking about seizures. Yeah, that was the last comment. And I guess come to find out, lemon juice is a thing for us.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.